بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of Organizational Behavior course, today inshallah we are going to finish chapter number 5, the Perceptual Processes. At the previous lecture, we explained how the individual differences such as personality, gender, general mental ability, the cultural differences, and nudging affect any decision-making process. Also, we discussing in more details the organizational constraints which is affect decision-making process, such as performance evaluation systems, reward systems, formal regulations, system imposed by time constraints, okay, and historical precedents. Okay, and today inshallah we are going to cover the last topic in this chapter. We wanted to discuss the ethical or the 3 ethical decision criteria, such as the rights of the employees, the justice, utilitarianism, and also we wanted to describe the 3 stages model of creativity and why organizations enhance their employees to think in a creative way for making any decision within the organization. What about ethics and decision making? Ethical considerations should be important to all organizational decision making. In this section, we present 3 ways to frame decisions ethically. We also address the important issues of how lying affects decision making. Okay, so now we want to talk about the 3 main criteria related to ethical decision making, the 3 ethical decision criteria. The first criteria, which is related to utilitarianism, the second one, the rights, the third one, which is related to justice. Okay, so the first ethical criteria, utilitarianism, which proposes making decision based on the basis of their outcomes or on the outputs. Okay, so what do you mean by utilitarianism? It is up to what extent we can best utilize decision focusing on the outcomes or the outputs of the decision itself. Okay. So again, utilitarianism proposed making a decision based on the basis of their outcomes, ideally to provide the greatest good for greatest number. This view dominates business decision making and is consistent with the goals such as high efficiency, high productivity, high profit, okay, highly achievement of the goals, high output. Okay, so it is again focusing in the best utilization of the output. Okay, so, but what is the consequences of the first criteria اللي هي utilitarianism? Here we focusing on the output, يعني we are focusing to increase the efficiency, productivity, outputs, achieve the goals. Okay, but at the same time we ignoring the employees' rights and we abuse the individual rights. So here we have to make a balance between the rights of the employees and achieving the desired outcome or the efficiency. Okay. في utilitarianism احنا بنحكي على بنركز على الاوتكمز بس احنا مش ماخدين بعين الاعتبار اللي هو الهيومن ريسورس. اوكي، فبالتالي يفترض انه في له بعض الحقوق، حقق مصالحك لكن خذ بعين الاعتبار انه في عندي بعض الاشخاص لازم ناخذهم بعين الاعتبار. فبالتالي يفترض انه يكون في عندي نوع من البالانس between the achieving the desired outcome, increasing the productivity, the efficiency, and the employees' rights. So the next criteria, which is related to the ethical decision making, it is the rights. Okay. It is related to the employees' rights. A second ethical criteria is to make decision consistent with fundamental liberties and privileges. Okay, An emphasis on rights in decision making means respecting and protecting the basic rights of individuals. So we have to respect and to protect the rights of individuals, such as the right of privacy, free to speech, due process. This criteria هي ال right criteria protects whistleblowers when they reveal an organization's unethical practices to the press or government agencies using their right to free speech. Okay. So again, once we talk about the second ethical decision criteria, rights, here we focusing on whether the decision fair or unfair, whether it is harm or not harm others' right. Okay. The third decision criteria or ethical decision criteria, which is justice, and it means up to what extent there is commitment to rules and regulations, or the ability to impose and enforce rules fairly and impartially to ensure justice and or an equitable distribution of benefits and costs. Okay, and what are the main consequences of applying the third criteria, اللي هي justice? If we apply this criteria, so there is a balance applied because once we apply justice, here we protect the right of weaker employees within the organizations. It means there is a clear mandates, clear rules, clear regulations. So here we expect to protect the rights of employees regardless of this of his or her power. Okay. And this will encourage a sense of entitlement, loyalty, belonging to the organization, and it will reflect other issues related to increase satisfaction, decrease absenteeism rate, and decrease the turnover ratio. Okay, so this is the three main criteria related to the ethical decision making process. Okay. The behavioral ethics, it is an area of study that analyzes how people behave when confronted with ethical dilemmas. And some researchers tell us that while ethical standards exist collectively in societies and organizations and individually in the form of personal ethics, we don't always follow ethical standards promoted by our organizations, and we sometimes violate our own standards. Okay, so our ethical behavior varies widely from one situation to another. One of the unethical and the top unethical activities can be applied within the organizations, and one of the big ethical problem related to lying. Lying is one of the top unethical activities we may indulge in daily, and it undermines all efforts toward sound decision making. Okay, so lying is deadly to decision making, whether we detect the lies or not. Managers and organizations simply cannot make good decisions when the facts are wrong, misrepresented, and the people give us a false motives for their behaviors. So lying is a big ethical problem as well from an organizational perspective, using fancy lie detection techniques and interrupting liars when possible yield unreliable results. Yeah. So lying is an ethical activities which is affect the decision making process. The last topic in this chapter related to creativity, creative decision making, and innovation in organizations. Okay, so what do you mean by creativity? Creativity, in a simple word, it means coming with the new ideas to perform our task or our job. Or in another way, it is the ability to produce novel and useful ideas. Okay, so creativity allows the decision makers to follow appraise and understand the problems, analyze the problems, including seeing the problems in a real picture, not just as we wanted to see it, okay, and to see the problem others cannot see it, okay. If we ask a question about creativity, why the organizations, and especially the private organizations, highly appreciate creativity and developed measure tools for creativity, or in another way, why the private organizations enhanced employee to think in a creative way. Of course, the reason that in a private sector the profitability okay, or the private organizations goals هي profitability, one of the main issues to improve and appreciate the creative thinking. Okay, so we wanna to think in a creative way, to know how to deal with the problems, okay, how to compete others, how to analyze the problems, how to find the best solutions in the right time. Okay, and now we wanted to talk about the 3-stage model of creativity in an organization. The first one and the core of the model, which is related to creative behavior, and the causes and the effect of the creative behavior. The causes, which is related to the predictors of creative behavior, and the outcomes of creative behavior. Okay, so as we see in this figure, it is the 3-stage model of creativity in an organization. This is the creative behavior, and it is follow 4 stages. It is start with the problem formulation to define the problem, then gathering the needed information about the problem, then we wanna to generate different ideas for solving this problem, then we wanted to evaluate our chosen or the alternative which is used to solve this problem. Okay, and according to creative behavior, we have causes of creative behavior and the outcomes of creative behavior. The causes of creative behavior, which is related to the creative potentials and creative environment. Okay, and the outcomes اللي هي innovations اللي هي related to novelty and the usefulness of this creative behavior for the organization. So creative behavior, the creative behavior occurs in 4 steps. Okay, the first one, problem formulation. It means problem identification. Okay, so in this stage of creative behavior, we identify the problem or opportunity that requires a specific solution or a unique solutions that is as yet unknown. Okay, the second stage of creative behavior, the information gathering. Okay, so it is the stage of creative behavior when knowledge is sought and possible solutions to a problem incubate in an individual's mind. Information gathering leads us to identify the innovation opportunities. So here we have a knowledge, okay, related to solve this problem. After that, or the third step, it is the idea generation. It is the process of a creative behavior in which we develop a possible solutions according to the relevant information and the knowledge that we have in the previous stage. The last stage, which is related to idea evaluation, it is the time to choose from the ideas we have generated in the previous step. Idea evaluation, it is the process of creative behavior in which we evaluate the potential solutions, problems to identify the best one. Okay. Causes of creative behavior. Okay, and once we talk about the causes of creative behavior, we have to talk about 2 sections. The first one, which is related to creative potential, and the second one, which is related to creative environment. Okay, so the first one, the creative potential. People who have a package of traits and characteristics, they are more potential for creativity. So once we talk about the creative potentials, we are talking about a package of characteristics and the traits should be in a specific persons, and the people who have such traits or characteristics have more potential for creativity, such as trait related to openness, self-confidence, self-efficacy, risk-taking, okay, tolerance for ambiguity, and so on. Okay, so the more of these characteristics we have, the higher our creative potential. Innovation is one of the top organizational goals for leaders, with the facets of the following. Okay, the first one, intelligence and creativity. Okay, intelligence is related to, of course, it is related to creativity. So smart people are more creative because they are better in solving complex problem and analyzing the problems, and they have the greater information and working memory, and they can recall more information related to the task at hand. Okay, so the intelligence people, of course, they are creative people because they know how to deal with complex problem, and they have lots of informations and alternatives for solving those problems. The second one اللي هي personality and creativity. Okay, once we talk about the big five personality traits of openness to experience correlates with creativity, probably because open individuals are less conformist in behavior and more divergent in thinking. Okay, so openness individuals يعني they are creative persons. Okay, لأنهم بتقبلوا الأفكار الجديدة، بتقبلوا آراء الآخرين. Okay, أما بالنسبة ل other traits of creative people such as proactive personality, self-confidence, risk-taking, tolerance of ambiguity, and perseverance. Self-efficacy, belief in your capability, and positive effect also predict an individual capability. And again, we talk that the people who have those characteristics or those traits, they are a creative, or they have a potential for creativity. Okay, the third one, which is related to expertise and creativity. Okay, what do we mean by expertise? It is a package of knowledge and the skills and applications. Have the applications for those skills and knowledge. Okay, so here the textbook said that expertise is the foundation for all the creative work, and thus is the single most important predictor of creative potential. So why expertise considered as the foundation of creative work? The answer here that if we have a knowledge or skills, we cannot do anything. Okay, but we wanted to have an expertise which is related to the applications, to know how to apply those skills and knowledge. Okay. Ethics and creativity. Although creativity is linked with many desirable individual characteristics, it is not correlated with ethicality. People who cheat may actually be more creative than those who behave ethically. Okay, so again, once we talk about the causes of the creative behavior, we talk about the creative potential which is related to the set of characteristics and traits. Once it is involved in persons or individuals, it means they are more potential for creativity, such as intelligence. Okay, smart people who have the ability to solve complex problem and more information related to the problem. The traits of personalities, whether they have an experience or not. And the last one اللي هي ethics. And here, as the textbook said, that people who cheat may actually be more creative than those who behave ethically. So creativity, it is linked to desirable individual characteristic, but it is not correlated to ethics. Okay. The second part of the causes of ethical behavior, it is a creative environment. So having a potential or a creative potential, it is not enough. So the organization should develop a mechanisms to initiate this potential or a creative potential to have a creative output. Okay. احيانا ممكن الشخص يكون في عنده اللي هو ال creative potentials من intelligence، من اللي هي شخصيته، ال traits اللي عنده الخبرة او الى اخره، ولكن احيانا ممكن تكون بيئة العمل نفسها ما بتحفز يعني انه يفكر بطريقة ابداعية. So most of us has creative potential we can learn to apply, but as important as a creative potential is by itself, it is not enough. We need to be in an environment where creative potential can be realized. Okay, so of many environmental factors related to this topic اللي هي motivation. If you are not motivated to be creative, it is unlikely you will be. And here we wanted to focus about the intrinsic motivation. It means the desire of work, if you are interested in this work, exciting, satisfying, challenging in this work or not. Okay. Of course, the intrinsic motivation correlates fairly strongly with creative outcomes. Okay. فمرة ثانية يعني قد تكون بيئة العمل نفسها غير محفزة اللي هو التفكير الإبداعي، فبالتالي لازم المنظمة أنها تهتم بهذا الأمر. شغلة تانية كمان اللي هو الدافعية من داخل الإنسان نفسه. أوكي. هل هو حابب هذا العمل؟ هل هو راضي أو غير راضي من اهتماماته أو من يعني ليست من اهتماماته؟ كل هذه الأمور طبعا إلها علاقة بأنه يفكر بطريقة إبداعية أو لا. Okay. The organization should foster the free flow of ideas, including providing fair and constructive judgment. Freedom from excessive rules also encourages creativity. Employees should have the freedom to decide what work is to be done and how to do it. Okay. فبالتالي على المنظمة أنها تفعل الآتي: providing fair and constructive judgment. Okay, freedom from excessive rules. Also, it is encourage creativity and it will lead to creative outcomes. Employees should have a freedom to decide what work is to be done and how to be done, not just to follow instructions and rules and regulations. Okay, فعشان هيك البيروقراطيك organizations هي بتقتل التفكير الإبداعي، لأنه يعني هي معنية برولز وregulations ومانديتس لازم إنه إحنا نتبعها في اتخاذنا للقرارات. Okay. كمان بيحكي لأنه teams matter to creativity too. Okay. More work today is being done in teams and many people believe diversity will increase team creativity. بعض الأبحاث بتقول إنه العمل ضمن الفريق كمان يعني بيشجع على التفكير الإبداعي، لأنه في عندي اللي هو اختلافات ما بين الأفكار وما بين التفكير والإبداعات والثقافات، فبالتالي ممكن يخلق نوع من الكرياتيفيتي. Also the leadership might make the difference. حسب اللي هو leadership style موجود داخل المنظمة ممكن يلعب دور في اللي هو أخذ القرارات الإبداعية أو قتلها. Okay. The last stage of creativity model اللي هو the creative outcomes, the innovation. Okay. We can define creative outcomes or the output as ideas or solutions judged to be novel and useful by relevant stakeholders. Novelty itself doesn't generate creative outcome if it is not useful. Thus, of the whole solution are creative only if they help solve the problem. Okay. الكرياتيفيتي مش معناته انه احنا نوجد مجموعة كبيرة من الالترناتيفز. الديسيشنز بحد ذاتها مش يعني فيش فيها نوع من الكرياتيفيتي إلا إذا كنت قادرة على تطبيقها to implement this solutions وهذه السولوشنز كانت useful for the organizations or solve the problem. في هذه الحالة ممكن أحكي إنه في عندي فعلا creative outcomes or an innovation. So again, novelty itself doesn't generate a creative outcome if it doesn't useful. Okay, solutions are creative only if they have solved the problem. Okay, one researcher found that in a large company, creative ideas were most likely to be implemented when an individual was motivated to translate the idea into practice and have strong networking ability. These studies highlights an important fact that creative ideas don't implement itself. Translating them into creative outcomes is a social process that requires utilizing other concepts addressed in this text, including power, politics, leadership, and motivation. This is the end of chapter number 5. Thank you for your listening and good luck.